When Wendy of Red Velvet sat down for a segment on SBS Power FM's 2 o'clock Escape Cultuo show, she didn't expect to spark one of the most heartwarming moments in recent K-pop radio history. During the broadcast, she shared a story that perfectly captured Jin BTS's personality, his sincerity, humility, and unwavering sense of loyalty. As she spoke, the atmosphere in the studio turned emotional. Fans listening could feel that this wasn't just another celebrity anecdote. It was a glimpse into the quiet, genuine world behind the glossy perfection of K-pop idols. Wendy began by recalling a promise Jin had made to her years earlier. Jin made a promise to keep his loyalty, she said with a soft laugh. He promised that if he ever appeared on a radio show, he would appear on mine. Since I participated in a song as a featuring artist, he said he would definitely come. That small detail, him making a note of her contribution and wanting to repay her gesture, spoke volumes. In an industry where schedules are packed and promises often fall through due to overwhelming workloads, Jin's commitment stood out. He didn't just say it, he acted on it. The story became even more touching when Wendy revealed that Jin had personally contacted his company to ensure that his promise would be kept. He told his company in advance and had them put it into a schedule, she explained. Before I could even ask, they said, Wendy SSI, he has decided to appear. I was so thankful. That act may seem simple, but to fans and industry insiders alike, it was extraordinary. Jin, a global superstar and one of the most recognized figures in the world, had taken time to fulfill a personal promise, not because of publicity or PR strategy, but because he meant what he said. For ARMY, Jin's fans, this wasn't surprising. It was confirmation of what they already knew. Jin's sense of integrity has been a cornerstone of his public persona for years. He's known not just for his angelic visuals or his unmistakable voice, but for his decency, humor, and the rare consistency of his character. Whether it's his interactions with fans, his treatment of staff, or his relationships with peers, Jin carries a reputation as someone who values sincerity over spectacle. Wendy's story only added another beautiful layer to that image. Social media quickly lit up after the broadcast. Within hours, Jin and Wendy trended across platforms in South Korea, Japan, and several Southeast Asian countries. ARMYs and Rivalovs, the fanbases of BTS and Red Velvet, joined hands online to celebrate the moment. Memes, fan art, and emotional messages poured in. One fan wrote, "This is why Jin is special. Even when the world moves fast, he remembers kindness." Another posted, "Their friendship is the kind of pure, genuine bond you rarely see in this industry." The tone across fandoms was unified: gratitude, warmth, and admiration. Korean entertainment commentators also joined the discussion. Many praised both Jin and Wendy for their professionalism and mutual respect. A veteran DJ at SBS Power FM commented, "In radio, you can always tell when two guests have real chemistry." Jin's presence on Wendy's show wasn't just promotional. It felt sincere, like two friends catching up after years apart. That authenticity, he noted, is what makes listeners stay tuned. It's what gives such moments cultural resonance beyond a single broadcast. The deeper meaning behind Jin's gesture can't be ignored. In the entertainment world, where promises often vanish amid endless schedules, keeping one's word becomes an act of quiet rebellion. Jin's choice to honor Wendy's invitation, arranged through his own initiative, demonstrated that even at the highest level of fame, human decency still matters. It showed that respect isn't something to be performed for cameras, but something that defines you when no one's watching. Wendy herself has always been known for her empathy and grounded attitude. As one of the most beloved vocalists in Red Velvet, she's admired not only for her artistry, but also for her genuine warmth toward fellow artists. The fact that Jin chose her show, out of countless others, carried symbolic weight. It wasn't about prestige or viewership, it was about friendship and gratitude. Their on-air dynamic reflected that history effortlessly. They joked, shared behind-the-scenes stories, and laughed in a way that felt unscripted and real. Listeners described the show as a healing broadcast. Some said it reminded them of the early 2010s era of K-pop, when idols often appeared on radio to reveal their more human sides, free from the glare of tightly choreographed performances. Jin's calm, composed voice, mixed with his natural humor, gave fans a rare look into his personality after his return from military service. Wendy's gentle hosting balanced that energy perfectly. It felt like two friends meeting after a long time, with microphones simply there to record the magic. Industry analysts noticed a spike in ratings for Wendy's Young Street after Jin's appearance. The episode's replay on SBS Power FM's platform saw record-breaking listener counts within 24 hours. Clips circulated on social media, garnering millions of views across X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. The phrase "Jin kept his promise" became a viral caption for edits, reaction videos, and even fan animations illustrating their friendship. For a few days, the online world was united in a rare wave of positivity, a celebration of loyalty in an industry often dominated by competition. K-pop culture thrives on image and spectacle, but stories like this remind fans that at its heart, it's still about people, about the connections and respect that sustain artists through the chaos. Jin's act of kindness resonated precisely because it contrasted with the transactional nature of fame. Fans saw not a superstar, but a man who remembered someone's kindness and went out of his way to reciprocate and the following days, entertainment outlets released retrospectives on Jin's past gestures of loyalty. They recalled how he consistently supports his BTS members in their solo endeavors, how he once attended a crew member's wedding quietly without media coverage, and how he often expresses gratitude toward fans with personal messages on Weverse. Wendy's story became part of this growing narrative of Jin as the embodiment of sincerity, someone who never lets fame alter his principles. Wendy, too, received waves of appreciation. Fans praised her for publicly sharing the story and doing so with grace. Her words carried both admiration and respect, not sensationalism. Many noted how Wendy and Jin represent a healthier, more respectful generation of idols, ones who treat their colleagues as equals, not competitors. It's this maturity that fans found refreshing and deeply humanizing. Korean radio programs, once overshadowed by visual content platforms, suddenly found renewed interest. Producers cited Jin's appearance as proof that authentic storytelling can still draw mass attention. One SBS staff member commented anonymously to the press, "When Jin confirmed his participation, everyone here was excited, but we didn't expect it to be this powerful. His sincerity changed the mood in the studio. You could feel it." Another added, "It reminded us why radio still matters. It's the most human form of communication." Some entertainment insiders believe this event could mark the beginning of more cross-group collaborations based on personal respect rather than label arrangements. It showed that friendship among idols, often kept private to avoid fan misunderstandings, can inspire audiences instead of dividing them. Both ARMY and Riva Love fandoms showcase maturity, celebrating rather than competing. That harmony, fleeting as it may seem, was one of the most beautiful outcomes of the entire story. As days passed, fans kept sharing small moments from the broadcast. The way Wendy smiled when Jin spoke, the laughter that filled the studio, the warmth that felt almost tangible through the speakers. A fan translated one part of the show where Jin thanked Wendy for always being so kind and supportive. That single line, repeated thousands of times across fan accounts, became a symbol of mutual respect between two of K-pop's most beloved vocalists. Global media eventually caught on. International outlets like NME, Koreaboo, and Teen Vogue wrote features about the friendship, framing it as an example of how K-pop's greatest stars remain grounded despite fame. Some compared Jin's loyalty to that of older entertainment icons known for honoring promises and valuing integrity over convenience. It became a case study in how emotional authenticity can cut through the noise of digital media. There's something poetic about the simplicity of Jin's gesture. No grand announcements, no hashtags created for promotion, just a promise quietly kept, and a story told sincerely by a friend. That's what makes it resonate so deeply. It's not about Jin the superstar, but Jin the person, the one who remembers, who follows through, who keeps his word because he values the meaning behind it. Fans replayed the episode and shared translations across platforms. One sentiment echoed everywhere. This is the kind of story that makes you believe in kindness again. In a year filled with controversies and overexposed celebrity drama, Jin and Wendy offered something different, a reminder that gentleness still exists in the spotlight, that fame doesn't have to harden hearts, and that sometimes the smallest acts carry the most emotional weight. By the end of the week, SBS confirmed that Jin's episode had become one of the most streamed radio replays in recent years. Advertisers expressed renewed interest in sponsoring similar guest appearances, while fans requested more collaborations between idols with genuine friendships. Wendy thanked listeners on air, saying, "It was truly special.